Today, for the very first time, I'm going to be listening to the brand new album from the always interesting and very unique band Archive. This is A Call to Arms and Angels. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another album review / reaction here on my channel. If you've never seen a video like this on my channel before, know that basically what I'm going to do is take the CD, in this case probably CDs, I'll get to that in a second. I'm going to take the CD, put it in my CD player, listen all the way through the album from front to back for the very first time while giving you all of my thoughts in real time. So I will be talking over the music, and I will be talking probably quite a lot. On my channel here, I like to focus on critical listening in terms of music production and the different sounds that you're hearing, the different techniques that were maybe used to record them, the different techniques that were used during the mixing and editing and mixing and possibly even mastering process. I'll talk maybe a little bit about lyrics if something, catches my attention, but for the most part, I do not focus on breaking down lyrics or anything like that. So just be aware of that. Another thing that I want to mention right away off the bat is that in the description of this video, you will see timestamps for all the different sections of the video, including the individual songs. So if you have a favorite song and you'd like to skip to that and hear my reaction to that song, or if you'd like to skip everything and go to the end of the video, it'll probably be this last, maybe second last little section on the timeline. I usually do my sort of overall thoughts or my album review, if you will, at the end of the video. So if you want to skip all of my talking at the beginning and then my listening to the whole album, feel free to go ahead and just skip to the end and listen to my review and get my overall thoughts there. Another thing in the description of the video that I will include is a link to purchase this album. I have the special deluxe edition that includes a third disc. And I ordered this from Archive's website, so I don't know if there's any copies available of that there. I don't know exactly what's going on with the purchase situation. I just got my copy in the mail last week, and I actually filmed an unboxing of this, and I'll get to that in a second, but I want to get through the intro stuff here first. So my plan right now is to... So in the description of the video also, I will include links to various things possibly to purchase on Amazon, to Archive's website, and maybe to listen to the album on Spotify as well. I'm hoping that I can use the actual music from the actual audio from the discs themselves in this video so that you can listen along with me. However, some artists do not allow that on YouTube. Their copyright is set that if someone uses any of their copyrighted material in a video, that video would get taken down rather than just demonetized, which I don't have any videos on my channel monetized. I never have, and as of right now, I don't have any plans to do that because I like to use the actual audio from the album, and I don't want to deal with that stuff, at least to the extent that I don't have to. So I'll try to include the audio, but if I can't, I'll include a link to listen along with me. I'll try to make it as good as possible for you guys. Another thing I want to just say real quick off the bat here, my shirt, if you've been following any of the videos on my channel this year, you'll know that I found 7 shirts that I had been saving since high school in my basement at the end of last year. 7 No Boundaries shirts that I got in high school, which I graduated from high school in 2005. So this is, I believe, the 6th shirt. So we're almost done with these awesome shirts. So just to throw that out there as to why I'm wearing this particular shirt in this video. And let's see, was there anything else I wanted to mention off the bat? Just that I want to try to keep this sort of short here in the intro before I get to actually listening to the album, because this is a double disc set, and I technically have a triple disc set because I bought the deluxe autographed edition, which is really cool, and it comes with the soundtrack that they did for the movie Super 8. And so I am not planning on listening to the Super 8 soundtrack in this video. I obviously will listen to it on my own time. And as of right now, I am planning to listen to both discs. However, if the first disc is very disappointing or I find it a little bit boring, which I'm going to get into all my thoughts on Archive in a second here, I will maybe be only listening to the first disc. Though as of right now, my plan is to listen to both discs and get the full experience. So with that in mind, let's get to the unboxing video that I recorded earlier. You may notice that I recorded this before I went and got my hair cut yesterday, so be on the lookout for that. And I may cut this up because I probably talked a little bit too long in it for just a little unboxing, but let's check this out right now and I'll be right back with you. So I got this in the mail the other day. Very excited about it. This should be, as far as I understand in here, it says right on it, I guess, Call to Arms and Angels, the brand new Archive album. So it's really cool. I didn't realize when I ordered it that it would be coming from Europe, but it took quite a while to get here. Like maybe I want to say like 2 weeks or so after the date it was shipped. So it took quite a while, maybe a little couple days less than 2 weeks, but 11, 12 days I think it was. It says right on here, Dutch post though, so I think that means that it came from Germany, all the way from Germany, and I think that that's really cool. They're an English band from the UK, so. But anyway, all right, this is it. I've been waiting for days since I got this to open this, and I'm really excited to do it. So let's just go ahead and open it. Archive, in their collection of CDs, has some interesting album collections and artwork and stuff, and their most recent album, A False Foundation, has a really interestingly shaped album, and it's a different height and everything, so it doesn't fit as well on a shelf, but who knows? I'm anxious to see. And this is like a special deluxe edition. So, oh, wow. Oh, that is cool. Okay, first I want to get to this. I think this is just the receipt. Thank you for your order, blah, 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 blah. Awesome. Okay. Look at this. Autographed by the band. Very cool. I honestly don't know if I specifically ordered the signed version on purpose. I didn't even realize, I don't think, that it was going to be signed or autographed until I looked for the shipping information when I got the email that it was sent, and it said signed, and I don't think I even realized that. But there's different versions of this album out there, and this is the 3-disc version that comes with the first disc, a second disc, and I'm not sure what the difference of those two are. And then the third disc is the Super 8 soundtrack that they did for a movie. I feel like I have to be extra careful because I don't want to like rub off the, any of the the autographs, because that's really cool. Then we have a booklet, which I'll look through in a moment here. And then we have the 2 final discs in here, it looks like. We have Call to Arms and Angels Volume 2, I'm guessing. This is Call to Arms and Angels Disc 2. 8 songs on here. And this is the Super 8, 10 tracks on here. The Super 8 disc. Hopefully you can see that. It's very cool. Okay, let's take a look at this book. I really enjoy the artwork. Just as I'm looking here, this is the inside cover here is a picture of the whole band. And it looks, the clothes that they're wearing are cool, which is not something I normally notice the clothes very much, but okay, we got thick paper here. This is very thick. Archive, Call to Arms and Angels. Interesting. Surrounded by Ghosts. Okay, so I think we got lyrics here. Yes, it looks like we got lyrics. And on every other page, we have a picture of a band member. Sorry, my lighting should have been set up better for this. Band member. And then on this page, if you can see, I'm so sorry, lyrics. I like the pictures. They all look like home photos. They all look like older home photos too, kind of like maybe from the 90s, maybe going back to the 80s, but I'm sure that they're all pictures of the band now. Cool photos. Like I said, they all look like home photos, a little blurry, kind of out of focus a bit, which makes them look a little older, which is very cool. I love this. I love all the pictures. I love the words in here. So it looks like most of the songs do have lyrics, though I haven't, done a one-to-one comparison. Thank yous. We have the thank yous to all our loved ones, family, and friends. You know who you are. All the different people. We have Pollard, Polly, Dave, Maria, Danny, Lisa, and Darius. And then Archive itself. Thanks some people. And then here we have Call to Arms and Angels, produced by Archive and Jerome Devoy. Engineered and mixed by Jerome Devoy. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Assistant recording engineer Dan Ewins. All songs recorded at RAK Studios London. All songs mixed at Studio DES Paris. Mastered by Nigel Walton at the Edit Suite. Okay, so you can see there, yep, I got the deluxe edition. It is the autographed edition. I did not know that I was purchasing an autographed edition. I just, I believe, full transparency, I believe I bought this for around $30. I think it was like 28 something. And I'm not sure if that included tax or not. I think that maybe or not tax, shipping. I think possibly it was free shipping. I'm not sure. I do know, as I said in that video, that it was shipped, I believe, from Germany. So I've waited quite a while for this since it was released, I believe, at the end of April. The last week, maybe the penultimate week in April. But it's here now. I'm very excited to listen to this. So Archive is a band that I feel very strongly about in certain particular ways. And so to start this little section of the video off here where I'm talking about Archive and my feelings about them, let's go through the albums that I have and go through their sort of discography. So, maybe this would be a little bit easier if I started with where I started with Archive, which is this double disc set here. Back in the day, I am a little bit ashamed to admit, but not because I've gone back and tried to purchase all of these albums as I could, but I did download a torrent, I believe, of the Archive's whole discography, everything that was out up until the point when I did that. And I believe that Controlling Crowds Part 4 had just come out. And so in this torrent of Archive's whole discography, was all their music up to that point, up until Controlling Crowds Part 4. And I listened to it, and I thought it was interesting, and then I listened to Controlling Crowds Part 1 through 3, and I just was blown away. That album is so fascinating in so many ways, and basically, I fell in love with the band because of that album. And I went online, found this double set of Controlling Crowds Part 1 through 3, and then Controlling Crowds Part 4. So these are the two albums that really made me fall in love with Archive, but specifically the 3 EPs that were recorded, I believe, all separately and then put together on one album to make Controlling Crowds Parts 1 through 3. And then from there, I went Archive crazy, and I went back in time, and I found, this is over years and years we're talking here, I found a copy of You All Look the Same to Me. I'm sorry, I can't remember the names of these. Lights and Noise. And I like all of these albums for different reasons. They all have their very unique, different sounds, different production styles. There's some very, very, very long songs, and I enjoy that. I mentioned a little bit ago that some of the Archive songs can get a little bit repetitive and a little bit... there's not enough in them to keep me interested. However, I feel like that has been a little bit more of a modern thing with the band, and on their earlier material, it's a much easier for me to stay invested in the album all the way through. So I really like the entirety of all 3 of these albums. I think they all have their own unique special things to them, like I said, that make them sort of stand out individually. So I really enjoy these 3 albums. I really enjoy these 2 albums, as I said, the Controlling Crowds. I don't have Londinium or Take My Head. I have heard all of Take My Head, and I have not ever sat down and listened to all of Londinium. And I think I've kind of been saving that till when I can find a copy of it, because I really, really, really enjoy trip-hop music a lot. I think Portishead is one of the most amazing bands to never truly get the recognition that they deserve, in my opinion. I know that they were very big to certain groups and subsets of people, but Portishead did a lot for the music industry, and I believe a lot of the artists that I like today were influenced by Portishead, whether they even know it or not. But I really enjoy I really enjoy good trip hop music, and there aren't a whole ton of really good, very solid trip hop albums out there by bands that were considered to be pretty consistent throughout their career. And so Londinium is an album that I'm aware of. I need to hear it more, pay more attention to it. I know that there's a lot of hip hop influence on it as well. Really excited to get to that eventually. But so those first two archive albums, I don't know that much about, really, to be honest, because I have yet to acquire them. So then we have With Us Until You're Dead. I think that's what it is. Yeah, With Us Until You're Dead, which I thought was a really good successor to the Controlling Crowds two albums. I think it's actually, I like With Us Until You're Dead a little bit more than Controlling Crowds Part 4. So I was really happy when this album came out. This was the first album I got, I believe, after I had become a fan of the band and they released a new album, and I found out about it and I was like, heck yeah. And so I was really happy with this album. There's some really, really, really good songs on here, and I really enjoy this album. Then they released, let me see if I can get my, in the same year, they released these two albums. Axiom. Is that what it, Axiom? I think that's how you say it or pronounce it. This album was a little bit weird. It's a different album, though. It's more of a concept thing. It had to do with, like, it comes with a DVD so that you can watch sort of music videos, or sort of like almost like movies, like art house type stuff that accompany each one of the songs. A lot of instrumental stuff on here. Then, to sort of counterbalance that out, we got, what's this one called? Restriction. We got Restriction, the same year that Axiom came out, and I feel like this is sort of the true successor to With Us Until You're Dead and the Controlling Crowds albums. So happy that this all happened. I don't necessarily care for either of these two albums as much as some of the albums I've mentioned in this stack, but I do think that I enjoy Restriction a little bit more. So then we come to their most recent album, apart from the new one, The False Foundation. And this album, I feel, was probably the most disappointing to me in their catalog, because I was really hoping and expecting it to be more like With Us Until You're Dead and Controlling Crowds and Restriction than Axiom. However, I feel like it ended up being a little bit more like Axiom. There's more instrumental things, which I do feel as their career has gone on, Archive has included a lot more instrumental songs on their albums, and while I still can enjoy some of those, I'm more looking forward to songs with more lyrics and vocals in them. So I'd rather have a majority of the songs on the album be with vocals, and then have maybe a few instrumental tracks smattered in between. And I don't mind long instrumental sections in a song, but anyway, I've spent way too long going through their discography. I didn't want to go through it very long because I want to get to listening, but Archive is one of my favorite bands to talk about because they are so unique and cool for a lot of different reasons. You know, they have all sorts of very different sounding production on almost every one of their albums. Their last few albums have all this very crisp, clear, more electronic sounding production to them. Everything has nice sharp edges to it in terms of the mix. There's a lot of crystal clear, high-pitched frequencies to everything. They are not the kind of band that goes out of their way to try to make stuff sound too lo-fi. They do have lo-fi elements in their songs, but I would say overall they're a much more high-fidelity sounding band. Now, along with that, some of their earlier albums, like, I always forget what it's called, the one that's cardboard. You All Look the Same to Me. That album feels very much like a more analog-sounding album, like everything was run through tape machines. It feels a little bit more classic rocky in terms of the mix, and a little bit more akin to something like the Black Keys, rather than something like, something like Britney Spears or something, which I'm only talking about the production. I'm not talking about musical style or anything like that. But so there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of variety in the way that they produce their music and their songs and their albums. And I really enjoy that. You don't know what you're getting from album to album. Now, the other thing about Archive that really I love is that they have all sorts of musicians in their band. So there can be all sorts of different things happening in any song at any given point. And a lot of their songs, to me, I feel like if you just showed, picked really any Archive song and just show the average person who's not an Archive fan, they might not necessarily get what's happening, because there's a lot of repeating parts. There's a lot of repetition. There's a lot of patterns, there's a lot of loops, there's a lot of growing a song over a long period of time. And now we're getting to the thing that I was most excited to talk about, and one of the things that makes me love Archive the most, and it is the way that they craft an album and they craft a song to be an entire piece of art. And I don't mean that in like a hoity-toity way, but like I really do truly feel like Archive's albums are it is art. They are crafting a single piece of music that is cut up into very distinct and clearly defined individual songs, but they really pay attention to, more than any other band that I know, what song should follow another song, and every song bleeds into the next song in a way that feels very cool and earned and unique. And when you listen to Archive, you really should listen to a whole album rather than an individual song, because if you listen to an individual song and you hit play, or if you're listening maybe even on like shuffle mode or something on Spotify or whatever you use to listen to music, it definitely wouldn't have the same impact, because like I said, every song flows into the next song. They merge, and then the new song sort of comes out of and emerges from those two songs uniting together. And also, you can have a whole song that's like 4 minutes long that's just like very down-tempo, very quiet, very low. And that is in itself its own song, but it serves a greater purpose in regards to the album as a whole. And the dynamics. Archive use musical dynamics and audio dynamics in a way that no other band does. One of my favorite things about this band is that I constantly find myself listening to the Archive album, and all of a sudden I think to myself, when did this get so loud? You know, I was listening to it, the song started a little quiet, I turned it up to the correct volume, and it just grows and grows and blooms, but it very rarely does it ever like attack. It doesn't just there's no jump scares on an Archive album. It doesn't just come at you quickly. It builds. There's always this sense of building or this sense of release, and everything takes time. Everything is very patient, and the dynamics, the loudest louds and the quietest quiets are so extreme on these albums. It's much more akin to classical music, and I think that the way that they compose their music is so uniquely them that I just absolutely love it. And that is one of the reasons that I will die for this band. I will well, that was maybe a weird way to I was thinking in my head, die on a hill defending this band, so whatever. But I think this band is very special, probably one of the most special bands that is ongoing today. And I don't know what this album is going to be. Maybe this album is going to be terrible and I'm going to hate it. But I really think that their catalog is so special in so many ways, all that stuff I just mentioned. But really, it's the way that they compose their music, the way everything's put together, the way it's mixed, and the variety with which you can find anything, the way that they can take just a simple musical phrase, whether it's vocals or an instrument, and just repeat it to the point where its meaning changes over time, even though it's the same thing being said, you know? It's simple, but just driving in nails. You repeat that so much, it becomes about the driving repetitive force. It's creativity on a level that a lot of other people would be scared to go to, I think. And maybe I'm thinking way too hard about it. And I am not the kind of person that analyzes things on like a meta level very often. You know, I take things at face value a lot of the time. And when I'm listening to music, I love music that I love the very first time I hear it. It might be simple. It might be sort of, simple, but I love it. And I can a lot of my favorite music, I heard it the first time and I was like, I love that. It's awesome. I've felt the same way about it every time I've ever listened to it. But with Archives albums, the more I listen to them, the more I appreciate them. And Controlling Crowds parts 1 through 3, I have listened to so many times, but I can't tell you if I've ever actually sat and listened to the entire thing from front to back in one sitting, because it's almost too much. And that's why I enjoy that it's actually 3 separate sort of chunks of music separated into multiple songs each time and then all put on one album. You get your money's worth with that album. And if you're watching this video and you've never heard that album, just turn this video off and go listen to Archives Controlling Crowds parts or versions or volume 1 through 3. It was a series of 3 EPs that they released separately and then put together on one album. And man, is it so good. And I will say that that is my favorite Archive album. I do not think that they have done anything as fantastic as that album since then, though they've gotten very close with lots of individual songs. And I'm sure I like all the songs that are the Hatchet and, even their earlier stuff. Like FU is such a cool song. It's so unique and awesome. And just the constant vocals, the vocal rhythm is the same thing the whole time. And it just it just comes at you. So cool. But then you have a song like Again, or what's the one that starts with Numb. Numb is such a cool song because it's just numb, just repeating that numb. Like you become numb to the fact that they're saying numb, and that's just so cool on like a meta level. So I don't know if we're going to get stuff like that with this album or not. I'm sorry I've talked way too long for this intro. I didn't want to do that, but I'm just excited. Hopefully you can tell. I am excited about this band. I'm excited about this album. I hope we get fresh, unique, cool things on this album. I don't know, though. I have heard not a second of any of this. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and so now it is time. But before we do that, I have one thing I have to do real quick. We're listening to a double album, so I have to have a really great drink for this. So look on the table right here, and I'll be right back with you. So today I have Code Red Mountain Dew with my glass of ice. It's a little foggy, so it's probably hard to see, but my glass of ice, and the ice today is a mixture of water on the very bottom that was just frozen, and then a good maybe inch thick layer of the blue, I believe it's like blue raspberry or blue juice flavored Tampico, which is hard to find where I live in Nebraska in the middle of the United States. The blue Tampico juice is not very common, just the yellow and the sort of pinkish, the pink one. But I wanted something good for Archive. And it doesn't matter. You don't care what I'm drinking. But if you're watching this video, if you want to listen along with me, go grab your own drink. As Natalie Gold would say, grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's get into this album. Yep. So, got my CD here.
Yeah, that's what I thought would happen.
Whoops. I will say in the book, or in the booklet that comes with this, which I still am having trouble like touching the front of this. I don't want their autographs to come off, but in the booklet that accompanies this, which is attached to the CD, the whole thing is like its own book. It does say for each individual song on here who does what, so I will probably be referencing the book a lot. However, I don't want to look ahead of time very much because I don't want to get like, this is going to sound silly, but I don't want to get what elements are in each song spoiled for me until I get to that actual, disc 1. Until I hear the instruments in the song. So if I hear something crazy and I want to know what it is or who played it, I will listen. I'll go through and I will check the book. But before that, I don't want to check the book too much. Let's see how long this is, just out of curiosity. Oh boy, 55 minutes just for disc 1. This is Archive, A Call to Arms and Angels, disc 1, song 1, which is called Surrounded by Ghosts, starting right now. Oh boy, piano. So we started out with a little electronic sound and then piano and some synth strings of synth pads. This already is very different sounding. One of the things that I will say as we're getting started here, I love the use of distorted drums and drum loops and drum samples in all of Archive's albums, so I hope we get a lot of good stuff like that here. Okay, so it got big for a second, now it came down. Female vocals. Singing as quietly as she possibly can, which has its own difficulties as well. Ooh. Very good break there in the vocals. And there is that thing in the middle, and it's got a lot of lows to it. Like I can hear it. I don't know how reacting to an archive album is going to work. I've been a little bit worried about this because I've been so excited to listen to this, but I knew I wanted to film a reaction, but I don't know how the reaction part of this is going to work. You know, am I just going to zone out for a few minutes and not say anything? That's not good for the copyright of my videos, though I'm not going to talk the entire time, I promise. And I know I'm not paying attention to what's being said here. Don't get frustrated with me. I'm sorry. Also, the lyrics are awesome. Big piano comes in. And then a straight... Ooh. Okay, there's something playing in the background. There's a distorted effect on it, and there's reverb. It's pretty far in the back. Cymbal swell. Very cool. I don't know how much I should turn it up or down. And that's always the thing with archive. Okay, now everything's gone. It built, and then it's gone. Piano part. Very nice. Low in volume, not enormous. So it sounds like someone's playing a piano, but there also sounds like maybe there's a piano note that's just going bum 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 bum, and whatever that instrument is that's going bum 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 bum. There's a low like sub frequency transient on that, so I'm hearing it going. Her voice very airy, and again, she's singing very quietly. But she's building a little bit more, I feel like, as she's getting. Okay, that thing is fading back in now. Oh. I wish more reactors on YouTube would react to stuff like this, like vocal reactors and stuff, but it's tough because while Archive does have people who do vocals a lot in their band, they have a lot of different singers. Oh. This is very cinematic. And if they were doing the soundtrack for their movie, documentary thing, whatever it happened to be, maybe they got into a bit more of a cinematic sound. Oh, love it. Whoa. Whoa. Vocals. Whoa. Okay, I'm turning it up. Okay, we have rock guitar, drums. Sound like real recorded drums, which a lot of Archive's drums are. A lot of it's loops, too. Oh, we're on track 2 now. There we go. You gotta love it. I thought we were on the same song. So this is Mr. Daisy. Whoa. That was weird. I will say the overall guitars and drum mix, or the guitars and bass, sound a little bit muddy. And the background vocals, like, this is definitely background vocals here, and they are mixed to the level that background vocals would be. So I would hope that if lead vocals come in, that they are a little bit higher, but the vocals right now I feel are a little low. They feel more like background vocals. There's also like a little scratchy, like electric noise. Whoa, some reverse reverb there. The snare drum sounds very hollow. It's a very hollow sounding snare. So straight notes in the back. Oh. It's just adding this layer over everything. I will also say that for my videos, I edit all the swear words out, and it seems like there's a lot of swear words in this song, so it's going to be tough for me to edit the music, so I hope what you're hearing sounds good. But I'm not going to worry about that till after the fact. Okay, distorted guitar. And I hear a bass in there. It's not like over-encompassing or anything, though. The guitars right now are sitting pretty far back. And there's just sort of like, oh, piano. Wow. Now here, the vocals are... I cannot tell what's being said because they're too far back, but I think that that's the choice. Like they're using the vocals and as like almost like a choral effect, and it's just a part of the music. Everything, they're swirling things, almost like haunting things now. Building. Okay, to the drums now to the ride. The lead guitar on the left there. Wow, okay. Track 3. I am loving this. Wow. There's like a reverse part in there, vocal thing. Wow, this is great. I love how this sounds. The mix is really cool. And the bass guitar just with the drums. Yep. Okay, now the vocals here sound like they're the proper volume. But there's also a lot of them. Wow. Just emphasize everything that they're saying on the downbeat. Wow. This is track 3, by the way, Fear There and Everywhere. Yep. So this is vocals Pollard Barrier, drums Steve Bernard, bass by Jonathan Noyce, guitars by Mickey Hercombe / Eat Gas. I don't know what that is. Wait. Piano, keyboard, sound effects by Darius Keeler, Danny Griffiths / Eat Gas. So Eat Gas must be a person in the band. Sorry, that's a little bit of a weird name, but I apologize for laughing. Love this. This is great. This is harkening back a little bit more to something I feel like you would hear off of Lights or You All Look the Same to Me. I like the real bass playing. This feels more like a band. But it's still got that crazy like wall of sound archive vocal thing. See, now we've had 2 songs in a row where we've had this wall of sound vocals. It'd be nice if in this song or the next song, it was just a single line of vocals in the middle. Change it up a little bit. Building it up on the crashes. The snare drum definitely sounds a little bit muted. But that's one of the things that lends me to believe that it's probably real drums without a lot of drum replacing and stuff. Which I don't have a problem with, by the way. Especially when you're a band like Archive, where you craft so much of your song after things are recorded. You know, you can perform a whole song and record it and be done, or you can record parts or even a whole song and then add things to it afterwards. Whoa. That was interesting. I don't know what that sound was. Ooh, very haunting stuff coming in the back here. Just these swooshing, soupy things in the back. Oh, yeah. Yep. Love it. I will say, prog rock or prog metal is an area of music that I haven't got into very much until a little bit recently with the band Frost. And maybe a little bit with the band Leprous, kind of, but now that I'm getting a little bit more into that, songs that are much longer with drawn-out instrumental sections and things, I feel like I'm appreciating Archive in a little bit of a different way. So that's just something to keep in mind. And not being a big progressive metal prog music fan, I definitely see lots of elements of that in this now. And I knew that that was a big thing that they were doing. I love this now, by the way. Great hi-hat playing on this song. Really stuck out to me. Awesome. So we have a clear ending to this. Awesome. Track 4. Exactly what I said. One line of vocals right in the middle. Now I should look. I'm not sure if this is the same lady that's been singing with them for a while. On like Black and Blue and Hatchet and that. I'm not sure if they're all the same lady. Vocals by Holly Martin. Her name does sound familiar to me. Now she's doubling her vocals. Whoa. Bass guitar coming in here. The bass sounds a little woofy. I'm a little disappointed by that. It could have a little more definition to it. Guitar mono in the middle. Not a lot of stereo reverb or anything. Bass comes back in now. Whoa. The drums are really interesting in this song. They're reminding me a lot of one of my other favorite interesting bands that's similar to this. You might like them if you've never heard of them. The Boom Boom Satellites. I recommend. They have a much more accessible album called Exposed. I like that album a lot. Also full of elevating pleasures. But their last 2 albums are a little bit more like this. And then they have an album that actually reached the United States that I think is called Out Loud. That album, if you like what you're hearing here, you should listen to that album. They're a Japanese band. Boom Boom Satellites. Check them out. I'm definitely noticing this track and then to the last 2 tracks as well. Vocal manipulation. It's not just layering of clean vocals. There's definitely vocal with effect on it, like pitch shifting effects, which is a very modern thing. A lot of music has all sorts of pitch shifted vocals all over it now. Again, that sort of repeating the same phrase over and over, and even if it's different words, using the same rhythm, and it just keeps on building and building, 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 and that's So archive. I love that synth. You can tell it's a person playing it. It's not perfectly programmed in. Distorted vocal now in the middle. That helps it separate the distorted vocal from the vocals we've already established. Now on the side we have fighting, 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 I think. And there's like pitch shifted on that, or there's a male vocal mixed in there. Drums come back in. Oh. I hear some screams in there. Very cool. Just building, crafting a song with the voice. Okay. I feel like I'm doing this a lot, but that's what this song makes me think, like we're rolling down a hill. Everything's trying to catch up to everything else. But bass getting a little louder here. Absolute chaos on the sides. Love the way the drums sound here. Wow. Gosh, just insane chaos. Love it. Woohoo! This is great. This is great. This is great. I love this. And then let it... Next song right now. Yes, that was a chaotic song. Now we need to bring everything down. Distorted piano. Detuned piano. Love it. Love it. Ping pong echo a little bit there. Oh, clean, crisp, clear. This is good. Is this the same lady, Holly, again? Yes. Oh. Oh. This is... This is great. Piano, vocal. Ooh. I love that. Like electronic distorted sound. Harmony vocals. Double tracked, spread wide. Nice. Piano. Something low there. Yes, that was a very hopeful chord with her vocals. But she was saying the damage is done. Bring it back down. I'm almost done with my pop. I was too thirsty, I guess. Bring it back down. That's the dynamics I'm talking about. This does not exist in a lot of music nowadays. Nice human-sounding tempo. Plotting. You know, it's not rigid. It's not rigid. It's very human feeling. It feels like a human was playing the piano. Possibly... Yeah. Ooh. Little distortion there on the vocals. Not the good kind of distortion. But that might be a vocal effect they have. Something off to the left here. Oh, very cool. Slow transient synth there. And when I say transient, that's basically another way of saying attack. So there's a slow attack. Instead of going, bah, it went, hopefully that makes sense. Building back up for the chorus here. I mean, this is the chorus, I think. I love that chord right there. The damage is done. Like the chord she's creating with her vocals is very hopeful. Love this. Ooh. Oh man. See, now we're getting to the point where I'm like, my headphones are too loud here. Love it. Nice. Playing with the timing there. Oh, that's great. Yes. Oh, more. There's more. I thought the song was over. Woohoo! I am so excited. We have so many songs left. Whoopee! My ice isn't even going to break. I'll have to go get something else to drink. Oh, great. I love the little outro there. That was very nice. Oh, that was nice. Now what are they going to do? Track 6 right there was the transition. That was Shouting Within. This is Daytime Coma. Piano again. Keeping that sort of low synth pad underneath. Okay, male vocals are back. There's like a flanging effect on the vocal. Slow flange. Piano is mono. This song, the piano part here is in the middle. But there is reverb on it, like stereo reverb, it sounds like. Yeah, the vocal here with that kind of a panning flange effect on it or chorusing effect, it makes it sound almost like a Rhodes organ or some sort of a organ with a rotary organ, like a rotary effect. I love the piano part here. It's reminding me of one of my favorite movie soundtracks of all time, to the 1993 version of The Secret Garden by the conductor. Oh, who was it? The composer. It's like, I think it's like Andre. I'm sorry, I think it's a Russian composer. I love Alexander Desplat. No, that's the guy that did Godzilla. Anyway, the piano playing, the piano melodies on that soundtrack are so good. That's such a good movie soundtrack. Great movie, by the way, too. Really good book as well. Okay, now we got some synth patterns in there, which sound really good with the piano. Having the piano playing its part and then having this little thing in the background there. And then those like fireworks sounding. And then we have possibly real string there. Playing a real violin there. This is Daytime Coma. Awesome. Vocals by Dave Penn, drums by Steve Bernard, bass by Jonathan Noyce, Moog by Darius Keeler, Jonathan Noyce, guitars, oh boy, we're going to build up here. Pianos by Darius Keeler, violins, violas by Graham Prescott. Strings arranged by Darius Keeler, Graham Prescott. So we do have some strings there. This is beautiful. See, and I don't mind having a slow song after another slow song. That's what I was talking about before. Like, it's a whole piece of music. That was very cool in the background there. The entire album is a single piece of music with its ups and downs. And sometimes it's awesome to have a down and keep the down, to then go up and maybe keep the up for a while. We'll see what happens with the energy. I'm talking about energy, tempo, intensity. I love this. Now, this is reminding me of the soundtrack to one of my other favorite movies, A Series of Unfortunate Events. How interesting that the same song would remind me of two of my favorite soundtracks of all time. Similar sounding, I guess, in tone, though. The two soundtracks. Love this. Love the repetitive synth part. Very nice and dynamic here. The strings sound full. Ooh. Programmed synth bass here. Ooh. Yes, this is awesome. I love this song. This is the perfect way to have a mostly instrumental song, but have little vocals here and there. You know, the vocals to me haven't been like a vocal part in this song. It's been just like another instrument. Wow. What's this going to do? Is this going to build? Is this going to be a really long song? Or is this just going to build, fade out, and then into the next song? How many songs do we have per? 9. So there's 3 more after this. And we haven't been listening for more than 25 minutes for sure. So there has to be some long stuff here. That is some low frequencies. They are pushing my eardrums. I love this. This is great. Ooh, that note. You know, the piano and everything's almost faded out completely to the point where it's just this synth bass. Okay. All right, just end it. The piano's there, coming back in. Okay, it's back with some drums. Electronic drum beats, simple. Very subtle drums, too. Very fast, you know, completely dry. That snare is snappy. The kick is just a little put, put, put. Whoa, little reverse there. Whoa. Yes. Oh, boy. I want this song to last another 5 minutes. Build this and do something cool with it. This is awesome. Okay, the vocals are back in. Daytime coma, he just said. Okay, I don't think there's any other lyrics in the song. I haven't been paying attention to what he's been saying, but... Oh, yeah, that higher synth part in there. This is exactly what I think of when I think of archive. Just repeating parts, adding a new thing here, a new thing there, completely changing the feel of everything, even though everything is the same as it has been. You're just adding and subtracting things. And that bass note is now just staying on this note. Oh, now a tambourine. Slightly different snare sound here. Possibly real drums coming in here. Little organ part in there, maybe like electric piano. We're at minute 8 of this song. Oh. Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh. We changed notes there. And the vocals got oh. Back down to the root. Yes. I know I just keep saying yes, and this is great. I love it, though. Yep. Minute 9. Pitch shifted vocal. Unsettling. Someone. I think that's what it is. Oh yeah, that like sort of alien sounding voice in there. Yeah. Okay, bring it back. Organ holding out note. Track 6. Still on. 9 minutes and 55 seconds right now. Okay. I think the longest song they ever had was 17 minutes on Lights. Was it Lights? Okay. Oh, Lights is 18 minutes and 28 seconds. But then on Finding It So Hard is 17 minutes and 16 seconds, and Again is 16 minutes and 19 seconds. However, I think on the version I have of You All Look the Same to Me, the version that I said I illegally downloaded many years ago, it had more tracks on it. And at first I was like, what the heck? When I bought this, I was like, why aren't the songs all on here? They are all on there. They're just part of tracks. So I think that they cut the album up maybe a little differently during different, I don't know, versions or something. All right, minute 11 right now. Okay, you can hear that low synth bass sort of. They have they're doing a very slow filter sweep. Well, it's not sweeping, I guess, but it's just very low pass so that there's nothing above like 100 hertz at all. And just having that sort of straight organ note. Okay, they're filter sweeping up so you hear more of the high frequencies. You know they got a delay on it. Okay, this could be the end here, or they could build it up another time. I don't know. Guitar maybe in the middle. Building up. It's very much like white noise. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, now we're back to the drums the way they sounded the first two tracks. I can't really hear the kick at all. It's just a low boo, 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 boo. There's no high definition to it whatsoever. This, to me, they would have benefited from possibly sound replacing some of the kick here. Don't have to replace the entire thing, just have some additional sounds in there. Bass is in there now. Like bass guitar. Very cool. A bit more of a defined part in there. Just crashing. The overhead mics sound like they were recorded in stereo for the cymbals. We're at minute 14 right now. It's just building. Just whooshing things. Wow. 14 and a half minutes right now. Wow, track 7. Oh, Nelly. Oh boy, that was Daytime Coma. Now this is head heavy. Vocals by Maria Q, and I'm going to stop looking. I don't want to spoil for myself what's in this song. You know, it's also fun, too, when you look at an archive, you know, when you look in the booklet of an archive album, a song might have like maybe 20 words in it, and you think, oh, this would probably be a shorter song. That's the song that could be 20 minutes, and they're just repeating things, you know? Okay. Organ sound in there. Very cool. Very cool chords. And we have this sort of piano. It sounds like piano, maybe a little distortion effect on it, chorus effect. Sounds like a piano. It could be electric piano or something. Now that last track we ended on like a 3 like a 3-4 minute long build, just oh yeah. Okay, the hi-hat off to the right a little here. Real hi-hat being played for sure. Whoa. Additional hi-hat off to the left there a little bit. Vocals totally low passed at like probably what, 1,000 hertz? Maybe even a low below that. Okay, a little organ in there. Okay, love the feeling of building and then dropping it out. Letting the vocal sustain out. Cool beat. Oh. Love that synth. That could be the Moog or something coming back in. We have vocals Maria Q, drums Steve Bernard, bass by Jonathan Noyce, pianos by Darius Keeler, Graham Prescott, double bass by Matt Round, violins, violas by Graham Prescott, French horns by Jim Radigan, Paul Pritchard, keyboards, drum programming, sound effects by Darius Keeler, Danny Griffiths. Oh, a lot of vocals there. Vocal harmonies, vocal layering. Okay, we have some, sounds like maybe a little bit of filter sweeping there. Okay. Okay, letting everything kind of bloom off. Piano. Okay. It's just so fascinating to pay attention to when things come in and leave the song. Oh. I really wish the kick and the snare sounded better. I will say that maybe across the board so far, everything I've heard. But the fact that they are more subdued allows for all these other things swirling around to be more present. But I wish the kick and the snare sounded better. Bass has a little bit more definition in this song. A lot of vocal layering again. French horn there. French horn, that's such a cool element to have. Bass really doing a lot in this song. Tambourine. Multiple tambourines in there too. One doing the pattern. Could be the same tambourine, but I doubt it. It's probably a separate tambourine that's just being hit, maybe. Big build here again. Very cool. The French horn really has a really cool sound to it, and knowing that that's a real horn is very cool. That's track 7. This is the penultimate track on this disc. Piano. Dark. This is Enemy. Oh boy. What's Enemy about? Ooh, we got a harmonica, violin, double bass, a Hammond organ. I know I said I wasn't going to do that, but I did. Look ahead. Violin in there, I think, or viola. Very subtle. Love that violin in there. Very low, very quiet. Very quiet. Ooh, that's cool. Okay. Male vocals, very high. Falsetto. Ooh, I love that. Ooh, that was cool. They had a moment when he said, "See you," when they added a reverb, a lot of high frequencies to the reverb, so it went. Ooh, I hear harmony vocals coming in. They're fading in too. Very interesting there. Oh, piano there. That almost sounds like a little toy piano. That back. Again, they did it with this. Very cool. This is very quiet. The whole song is very quiet. Sorry if my table's squeaking. You can probably hear that. Ooh, cool. Something flying around there on the left side. Shoo. I would love to know how they compose these songs. You know, if they build these songs in the studio, it'd be just so amazing to be a fly on the wall to sit there and watch this come together. Does one of the guys from the band have a lot of this in their head and then they go to the studio and try to craft it? Or is it a more organic thing where more people have input? Oh, that's a cool piano note. Sound like there's like a loop of some breathing in there almost or something. Oh. This is awesome. Very creepy what's happening here. Pitch shifted vocals again. Whoa. organ. Man, there's just something it just sounds like archive. Yeah. Oh, the way that comes in and then just there's no tail at the end of that. It's just dry. Just cuts right off. Here we are. No protection. See, the snare sounds way better here, by the way. Now think about how quiet this song was for the first, 3 minutes. That's what I'm talking about when I say dynamics. Here we are! No protection, no protection. Now this is improvised, it sounds like. Oh, I love it. Bow now now. Bow now now. See, the thing is, when you have stuff like this that's just these repetitive things, you could add anything to this. You know, I can just imagine 9 people all in the room listening to this and going, I want to put this here, just try this, just get in your instrument, just play the same note, just ding 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 ding. It's like a clip clop of a horse. Which, having it be like that rather than it's sort of like a polyrhythm over everything. Or triplet notes of some kind. Now, we've had several songs that have done this, started low and built high, and I know that's said that that's kind of like an archive thing, but to me, I kind of enjoy it a little bit more maybe when they do it with all the songs total, there's a slow song that builds to a high song, but now we've had 2 or 3 songs that are longer songs that started really low and built really high, and then they end, and then the next song maybe does the same thing. I love that. Oh, and it's on the other side, too. We've got crunchy guitar, kind of dry. Not drenched in reverb. They're letting the song be what it is without forcing, this cavernous reverb onto it. I'm dancing around like a fool here, sorry. Wow. Okay. Starting out with a news reporter thing almost. Reminiscent of Rob Zombie. And then we got... It's just sample. And then we got... Oh... That's some weird flange. Very effect heavy. By the way, this is track 9. This is Every Single Day. Whoa, okay. Piano playing very hard. Bass in there. The giant background, the wall of sound vocals are back. The sort of Queen sounding vocals. The ends of the phrases they're extending. Or maybe having some like a delay. Second track with the same effect on it, but more of it. Longer. Tambourine in the middle. Those minor chords. Well, I mean, the whole song is minor, I think. Wow, that enormous snare reverb. Bass note, just boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 going up there, boom, 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 boom. And back to the verse again. Verse-ish. At first, I thought that the effect on the vocals is a little too much, but now that we've been at it here for 3 minutes I've gotten used to it, and I like it. Plus, I think there are times when they're dialing it up and down a little, too. No, I was going to check how much longer the song has to go, but I'm not doing that. Ooh. See, the kick and the snare here sound very good. This is what I would have preferred them to sound more like earlier on, but I get it. They're mixing it the way they are so that it sounds a particular way so that other things can fly around. Tambourine, very nice here, too. That might even be a tambourine sample rather than actual tambourine played. Bass, nice and round. Not a lot of high definition to it either, but it doesn't really need it. Ooh. Wait, it's slowing. I feel like a wind-up toy that's, you know... Bravo. Bravo. And we are only halfway done. Okay, I'm back. I took a bit of a break, went and combed my hair. I got some new drink. I just can't have more than one soda in a day. That's a rule I've had for many years. But I've got my blue ice in there still, creating a bit of a cocktail, I guess, with lemonade. Just regular lemonade and some blue juice. Good stuff. Whew! That is what I'm talking about. Now, while I was upstairs, I found something I thought we could do that might be a little fun as a little bit of a, clear the palate, cleanse the palate. I was at Goodwill the other day. Whoops. I found one of these books. Are you familiar? I'm not even sure if this will translate or work over the internet, but I'm going to try. Now, when I was younger, these books were really popular, though they only made a few of them. and I think I have a copy of all three of them. There might be been more, I'm not sure, but the specific Magic Eye books, I believe there was a black one, a red one, and a turquoise one. There may have been a blue one now that I think about it, but I know I've got the red, got the black, and I've got now the green one. Bought a hardcover even edition too. So I just thought it'd be fun. I'm going to open up to a random page and let you guys try to figure out what it is. I'll try to find one. Hold on. Oh, okay, that's a good one here. So I'm going to open up to this page, maybe, and I'll just hold both up. You can try to see both. Now I'll try to maybe zoom in or whatever. I'm going to put it down here so I can hold it steady. Now try as hard as you can. If you don't know what I'm talking about, what it says to do in the book is to hold it right up to your nose and then move it farther away from you, but you guys can't do that. So just try to cross your eyes a little bit and see the image that's in there. If you have no clue what I'm talking about, you don't know what Magic Eye books are at all. Sorry, I'm probably talking loud into the mic. If you don't know what I'm talking about at all, look it up online. Just look up what Magic Eye books are. I'm sure there's some YouTube videos showing people how to do it and whatnot, but here's some too. Now, if you can't tell what it is, the one on the left here where my finger's wiggling, I guess my left would be your right. This is a dinosaur, like with a Tyrannosaurus Rex, like a baby Tyrannosaurus Rex with a big head. The one on the your left, I guess, over here by my finger over here, that is a police officer looking at a little kid, and then it says something Heart New York. I think it's I Love New York. So if you couldn't see them, you'll just have to take my word for it. All right. Let's just go ahead and get into this. And we'll see what happens. It was fun. I will say my trepidation in terms of reacting to this was for nothing, basically. And even though maybe you might think that I was just sort of like calling out what was happening, it is kind of like that when you're listening to an archive album or something like this, where anything can happen at any point. You know, any sort of a sound can come in from anywhere and fly across whatever. It is kind of like listening to it for the first time. It is kind of like calling some sort of a sports match or a wrestling match or something, like, and this guy comes in and that guy passes that ball to that guy or whatever, or this guy tackles this guy or whatever, you know, tombstone pile driver off on the apron, the hardest part of the ring, you know, whatever. It is kind of like that. And so maybe there's not a ton of inherent value in that, just saying like, oh, there's a tambourine came in now, there goes the bass, there's this. But it all just depends on how people listen to music. And this is what I listen to music like when I'm listening to it for the first time. Maybe I'll listen a little bit differently later, but the first time I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like, what's happening? How did what's happening get recorded? Why is it being placed where it is? And all those different things. So hold on, I just need to make sure I'm recording now that I think about it. Yeah, okay, I'm recording. Audio recording? I think it is. Okay, anyway, whatever. A Call to Arms and Angels Archive, Disc 2, Track 1, starting right now. Amazing. Right away. This is the first time we've heard his voice without a ton of effects on it. Dry, right in the middle, loud. Also, great sounding kick and snare. I believe it's electronic sounding. Real sounding, but probably drum replaced. No cymbals whatsoever yet. Oh, weird. Weirdo. Oh, those delays. Oh. Yes. All right, what this is Freedom. Now I was gonna look and I forgot. Oh. Okay. Piano. Wow. Wow. That's some kind of a stab on the left here, violin or something. That's sub bass. Delay vocals again. Someone's twisting a knob. Piano right in the middle. Oh, I love that. I don't know how they do those. It's like they have some sort of a sound sample, then they reverse it, they run it through something. I know they use turntables and stuff before, and I don't hear much turntable, like scratching at least. But there's a lot of like tape sounding effects and stuff. Strings. What I was starting to say, though, was I was going to look up and then I forgot if on Spotify this is listed as a double album still, or if it's just listed as one long album and it's just a double album because you can't fit it all on 2 CDs. Oh, I didn't look. 46 minutes, and we're 2 minutes gone. So this second disc is around probably 49 minutes long, around 50. So definitely you couldn't fit all that. Ooh, a lot of lyrics on Freedom here. Gosh, sounds great. Love the kick. I mean, it could be like a big giant kick, but it's not, and it doesn't need to be really. Again, emphasizing things. They're one of the only bands that I know that, sorry, that's probably annoying when I do that. They're one of the only bands I know that, like, does that emphasizing thing. Eee. It's really hard to do pitch bending things like that because you end up with things that aren't in the key, and that's where you end up getting, stuff that sounds dissonant. That's when you end up getting stuff that sounds dissonant. Very cool. Very cool. Is that the end of the song? Yeah, I'm thinking it is. So track 2. No. Very subtle piano, but we're still on track 1, baby. Oh. Wow. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. To sing so quietly and to hold a note like that for so long. Wow. You can really hear the low frequencies in the piano. This is so quiet, you can probably hear my CD player actually working. So if you hear any sounds like that sound like some sort of electronic sound or my CD player making a noise. Wow, that's amazing. To be able to hold the notes like that while you're singing low and not have that the squeaky, like the note disappear on you. Very impressive vocal work. And I am not a vocal expert or anything like that at all. I'm not a good singer at all. I'm not really a good musician in any regard. You know, I do make my own music sometimes and whatnot, but it takes me a long time to do each thing, and I never do anything with the intention of ever performing it live, so I can just play something, come up with the part, play it, and then never have to worry about playing it ever again. So, different kind of musician. I mean, this is crafting a song. This is performance. This is emoting with your instrument and your vocals. Okay. Wow. Is that a female vocal there? It sounds like a different vocal. Vocals by, Pollard Barrier and Lisa Mottram. Pollard Barrier. Wow. See, now it feels like they're almost playing a bit with like the vibrato. Hmm. I'll have to look into the lyrics of this a little bit more, because just reading a little bit here at the end of the song, it definitely seems like there's some interesting stuff going on there. It would have been interesting to have, because we've had male vocals and female vocals here, and I wonder if that was a specific choice with what they're saying, maybe. It would have been interesting to have both of them together, but to overdub a different person singing like this, so specifically, so quietly, that could not have been easy. I don't know how they would have performed this in a studio. That's very tough. You know, have the lights all out, guy sitting in a booth behind you, maybe block them out, face the other way, something. You just have to be yourself. Like, you just have to be almost within yourself to try to perform this, and to be so, to hold these notes out. Wow. I want to hear someone react to this. I want to hear Charismatic Voice react to this song. Because whew, I bet she'd have a lot to say. Maybe I'm stupid and I'm dumb, and when the quieter you sing, the easier it is to sing. But I do not think that that's the case. Nice. That extra little push there at the end with her vocals. So I was way wrong 5 minutes ago when I said the song was going to be over. We're at 9 minutes and 10 seconds here about. More yet. They've got more to give us, okay? Piano. A little distorted piano there, too. Simple swell. Nine minutes, 40 seconds. Switching over. Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow, that kick. And her just dry vocal right there. Is it the same singer? Vocals by Holly Martin. Wow. She was like, hey, you just did all that fantastic work on the last song. Who was it? Hold on. Oh, no. Yeah. Vocals by Pollard Barrier and Lisa Mottram. I got to get in on that. Let me do the next song on the album. This is great. Very chill feel. You know, I wonder, I know with Controlling Crowds Part 1 through 4, now that sounds like Holly's vocals. Gosh, she has such a nice voice. Wonder if she's ever done a solo album. Is that selfish of me to just want more of the things that I love? It's always like when I get done with the reaction video and I'm like, I can't wait to see what they do next. It's like, look, just appreciate the thing you just heard. Very cool background there. Sounds like a choir. What was I saying, though? I forgot what I was saying. Sorry. Bass. Okay. Oh. Wow, that bass is so cool. Vocals Holly Martin, pianos by Darius Keeler, Graham Prescott, drums by Steve Bernard, bass by Jonathan Noyce, Moog by Jonathan Noyce, keyboards, drum programming, sound effects by Darius Keeler, Danny Griffiths. Wow. The programming here is fantastic. Very subtle, very chill. Now, the last two songs have been very crisp and clear. Anxious to see if that continues, or are we going to go back to that sort of raw, more rock sound? I think we will. Oh, that was what I was saying earlier. Controlling Crowds, I think what they did was they recorded the entire first part in sequence. Or the entire, each Controlling Crowds part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, I believe were recorded in sequence. And I want to say I thought I read somewhere that they wrote like first song first, second song second, third song third, fourth song fourth. And that's how they all tie together so well, because they were crafted that way. And if that's the case with this album, and they started with all that rock stuff at the beginning, and then they morphed into everything that we heard on the first disc, and now we're on the second disc like this, I'm interested to see where everything goes. Wow, okay, this is totally changing. We're building again. Wow. That could be like an orchestra, a choir patch. I mean, it must be because it's just staying constant. Whoa. That was very cool. Now we're back to that sort of drum beat from the beginning of the song. This is great. Again, it's just the patience with which this band allows the songs to... Yes, and her vocals come back in again for a little bit more. Very cool. Something just disappeared that was in the back, and I don't even know what it was. But I felt it go away. Drums are gone now. They faded out. Just piano, vocals, and that ding, 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 ding thing. It sounds like a clave or something almost. Now that's gone. Just the piano and the vocal. Her reverb in the back. Gone. Just her. Masterful. Masterful. I'm liking the second disc more even than the first one. Good Lord. Okay. We're on Frying Paint. Oh boy. Now that's a crazy name for a song, so I wonder what we're going to have here. Frying Paint. All right, I'm going to cheat and look. We have vocals by Pollard Barrier, drums by Steve Bernard, Hammond by Steve Keys Watts, keyboards, drums, programming, sound effects by Darius Keeler, Danny Griffiths. Okay. Interesting timing things happening where the beat is kind of and then it goes very interesting. I don't even know how you would do that. It's very unsettling, you know, like it's like I feel like I should edit this part of the video so it's like dropping frames, you know what I mean? I just don't know how to do that. But that's what this feels like. It feels like something stuttering, or a machine is having trouble playing back the song. Now, I'm guessing this is just the intro to the song, though we have had no words or anything yet. Okay, yep. I'm not a good dancer. Never said I was. Love this. Oh! The cymbals. Ooh. I love that. Doom 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 boom 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 doom boom doom boom doom boom boom. It's kind of Michael Jackson-y, you know. Boom doom boom doom boom doom. Billie Jean's not my love, you know. I love the groove here. And there's those little like click, like metallic sounding like clicks. Wow, this is different vocals. Very cool. Oh. Real drums coming in. That cymbal that hits, that one's... It's weird. It is weird. I almost wonder if the guys in this band or whoever it is that's like the creative mind here, if it's a collaboration or one person, if they have this idea like, I want to do a song where the cymbal, we take a couple of the hits and we just pan them all the others the way. Like, let's make a whole song based around that. What would that sound like? And it sounds like, yeah, let me play the bass. Boom, 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 boom. And like, yeah, that's cool. Like, now I'm totally making all this up in my head, but I just feel like I can create the narrative of how the story was, you know, was created. Ooh. Oh, those choir samples in the back there. Whew. I'm having so much fun listening to this, if you couldn't tell. Oh. Man, those cymbals are just... They're freaking me out. In a good way, though. I don't think it's distracting. Sometimes when the stereo spectrum shifts like that, it can be distracting, but I don't think so. That was very cool. All right, track 4. We Are the Same. Oh boy, yes. This is great. These all 4 of these songs so far have been pretty electronic, and I think that that's what I prefer. Oh. Oh. This is cool. Okay, we have Holly Martin, drums Steve Bernard, bass Jonathan Noyce, guitars, violins, strings arranged by Darius Keeler, double bass. Now the double bass is interesting. I haven't heard any double bass on the album that I've like recognized as double bass. It could be in string parts though. The stutter edity stuff here is so cool. It gives this song like a weird airy feel, but it's also disjointed. Oh. Now there's some big bass. Wow. Wow. I'm so glad I get to share this experience with anyone. If anyone ever watches this, a lot of my videos only get like 30 views maybe. And for a band like Archive, I don't know how big they are around the world, you know? But if anyone watches this and you hear this and you're listening to this album with me, like, this is just so awesome. This is so special. You know, especially an album like this where it's hard to just put an album like this on and listen to like an individual song, like I said at the beginning. So the first time listening to this, sitting here focusing on it, is probably the most special time that I will experience this album. And to be able to do that and record it with you guys and to share this experience with you guys, whoever watches this, is really cool and special. Hopefully I can include the audio from the album in this video and you can listen along with me. And, you know, I'll try to be mindful of the fact that some of the parts of the songs are really quiet and I'm sitting here yelling into the microphone. I'll try to adjust levels and stuff. I'll try to make the listening experience as enjoyable as possible. Yes. I love the analyze. I also like that a lot of the songs have like clearly defined choruses, or if not necessarily a chorus, clearly defined refrains and different parts. I think it's so cool that they have multiple vocalists in their band, that they can do all these different things. Oh, track 5. Wow. Okay, all right. Acoustic guitar. This is the first time we've heard acoustic guitar. Let's see who's playing it. It just says guitars by Dave Penn and Mickey Hurcombe. Vocals Dave Penn. Violin Graham Prescott. Piano. Keyboard sound effects. So no drums are even listed. This might be a shorter song then. There's very little lyrics. It could be more of a transitional song. Now, I said that last time, and then that song was like 20 minutes long, so... Whoa. Love the acoustic guitars, though. And the fact that we haven't, to my recollection, heard a single acoustic guitar at all on the first... 12 songs. It's pretty cool. Ooh, that was a little weird note. The way that they use reverse things as little flitty things is so cool. I just don't know how the mind has to work to craft music like this. You know, this is a little bit more straightforward. It's acoustic guitar and someone singing. But how do you decide what to add? How do you decide what's too much? How do you decide what's not enough? Oh, wow, that was cool. Yep. Oh. Oh, there's a lower in there. I'm alive. Sorry. Wow. Wow, that's cool. Wow. And then the tail. Wow, that was a cool song. Is it over? Yep, track 6. Everything's all right. Piano. Every single song on this disc has had close, dry vocals. Also, every song has had vocals. Sounds to me like it's multiple piano parts, but I'm not sure. I think it is because there's someone at least going ding ding dong ding dong ding dong ding dong ding dong ding dong. Then you have one other part. Could probably perform this piano 2 hands. Or piano 4 hands, sorry, idiot. Piano 2 hands is regular piano. Piano 2 hands. Sorry. That's just funny. Wonder if that's been done before. Drums. Kick sounds great. Snare sounds great. Wonder if these second disc was recorded in a different studio. It does say at the end here, produced by Archive and Jerome Devoy, engineered and mixed by Jerome Devoy. If I'm saying that right, sorry. Assistant recording engineer Dan Ewins. All songs recorded at RAK Studios London. Oh yeah, all songs mixed at Studio DES Paris. Wow. That was a short little one. Okay, that was a cool one, though. I like that. Now, we haven't really had on this disc yet a big blooming thing. So, give me something cool. The Crown. So we have vocals by Lisa Matra and Pollard Barrier, sorry. Drums, piano, guitars, harmonica, keyboards, and sound effects, drum programming. Ooh, I love that. Type thing. Hi-hat fading in. Now all of a sudden it switched the feel. Ooh. Weird. Very cool. Wow. Yes, please. Wow. Very cool. Someone just playing the hi-hat off to the side. Wow. Wow. And now her vocals are, her mouth is so close to the microphone. Wow. Wow. This is cool. This is unsettling and beautiful at the same time. Wow. You know, it would be awesome. Maybe they've done this already. I know I've seen live footage of them performing, but to perform like a whole album like this, both discs live, like with a string section, or they probably don't need that. They have enough people, but that would be something to see how this would work. That was almost like an ambulance sound or something. Oh, that's so cool. Wow, this is really crazy. She definitely has a bit of an accent to her singing as well, which I really enjoy. Almost all of the music I listen to is from Europe, or maybe a little bit from Japanese, from Japan, different places around the world. But I don't mind it when someone sings English with an accent. I know some people it can bother them, but I like it. And I also don't mind listening to someone sing in a different language. I wouldn't mind it if they were speaking French or whatever other language other than English. This is so weird and unsettling. There's something in the back going like, they're like almost like whining in the key of the song. Oh. We are building. The crown, 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 crown. Ha! Ha! Now the song has more of a driving feel as opposed to a plodding, like... We only have 2 more songs left, and I'm kind of sad. Oh, the pitch shifting here, I think that's going on. Though there is an interesting thing that happens when a person whispers, you can whisper like this. But if you have you can also whisper with your voice like this, which is unsettling. Oh, yelling. Sounds pitch shifted maybe a little bit. Wow. Are we going to add the other parts, vocal parts from the song? The bow, down, bow, down. The crown, the crown, the crown. Eight minutes right now. Shoot. The phone's ringing. I gotta get it. Hold on. Pause for a sec. Hello? That was my dad. He says he's trying to cultivate the field, and everything's breaking for him, so that's not good. But all right, sorry about that. I'm hitting play. Should be going with totally. The momentum was totally destroyed there. All right. I guess the song oh. Okay, we have some. Okay, track 8 right now. We had some samples there, like some maybe NASA or some kind of samples. This is Gold. Oh, vocals by Maria Q. I don't think we've seen her name yet, but I recognize her name. Sorry, my eye itches. Shouldn't itch it or it'll itch more. high-pitched vocal there. Or pitch-shifted higher vocal in there. This is unsettling. Maybe this will just be like sort of like a little intermission type thing before the last track. Oh, there comes some piano. It's disorienting. Not disorienting. Oh. It's a little bit freaky, I think, to hear that breath in there, that wow. Very pitch shifted vocal. Unsettling. Okay, weird. Weird. Definitely like vocal pitch manipulation software is definitely the thing that has probably come the furthest in the last 10 years or maybe a little bit more. I mean, you're talking Melodyne, obviously Autotune, different things. You can do so many different things. And it's just become a part of pop music, popular music. But there's still, I feel like there's still, when you hear a pitch shifted vocal, whether it's higher, like sounding like an alien, or lower, sounding like a monster, there's something unsettling about it, always. So someone like a Billie Eilish or something, for example, or a Poppy, could do something like this, and it has this unsettling feel intentionally. But there's a lot of background vocals in songs nowadays that are, ooh, that's a cool synth part. A lot of background vocals in pop music and stuff that are pitch shifted vocals, and they're just used to thicken things. Wow, okay, the whole band's in there now. Drums sound really good, nice and clear. Ooh. I like these chords. It almost feels reminiscent of the first. You know, I was gonna ask that if this was gonna be like sort of a ring theory type of thing, where the last two songs on the album come back to the sounds or themes or chord progressions of the first two songs off of the album back on disc 1. Oh, it's higher. I can't do that. That's cool. So this is where they can just kind of noodle. So, you know, the guitars here sound great, just strumming. All the high end taken out again. Bass just going. Ooh. This whole album has been this whole disc, this whole second disc has been much more chill. Oh. More cymbals. Building on the sides. The guitar over here is... Yes, back to the core riff here. I didn't expect this to be a long song. Wow. The guitars are back. I love that. Are we going to transition right into the last song? We're at 18 minutes and 20 seconds right now. Nope, they didn't. They ended it. Okay, track 9. Oh, no. What? There's only 8 on the second disc? Oh, boo! I looked wrong. Ha! That's funny. Well, I was anticipating another song, but okay. All right, well, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with ending it that way. I was just thinking there was going to be another song. Okay. All right. Whoo! Oh. Oh. Alrighty then. What are my thoughts on the album? Well, now I'm excited to listen to the Super 8 soundtrack, though I don't expect that to be anything like this. I don't think there's even any vocals probably on it, but maybe the fact that every single song on this album had vocals is because they did that Super 8 soundtrack. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are vocals on it too. I don't know. I don't really know. I'm not for sure what that Super 8 movie is, because I think it's kind of like a documentary about the band. That's kind of the impression I've got. I don't think it's like a regular movie or anything, and I don't think it's sort of like an art housey type of abstract thing that goes with the band, kind of like Axiom was. But I don't know. But anyway, oh man, was this a treat. This was great. I feel like the last song could have been a little bit more crazy. Like, I almost think I would have preferred to have that acoustic guitar song at the end, to have that. But it was neat kind of having it where it was too. I think it was track 6 or 7 maybe. It's hard to keep the track straight, but I will say that was fantastic. I think it might be the best mixed archive album of the modern albums, because I do think that their first batch of albums are all mixed really well. And by first batch, I mean those 3 that I mentioned. I think Noise, Lights, and I always forget that one. You All Look the Same to Me. I think those albums are all mixed really well. I think that Controlling Crowds parts 1, 2, 3, the whole, I think it's mixed really well. I think those songs are fantastic, but I do think that the overall mix was a little bit thin. It sounds a little bit more electronic-y, and maybe that's one of the reasons I like it so much. But I just think that The vocals in every song on that album are great. The way that it flows from one song to the next are all perfect. But this was just mixed amazing. The acoustic elements that were in there, when I say acoustic, I don't just mean acoustic guitar. I mean anything that was recorded in the air. So like the vocals, the drums, the acoustic guitar, and I don't know how the piano was recorded. There was some piano that to me sounded like it might have been like digital piano, like electric piano, and they can make such fantastic sounding. They have such good samples and stuff that they have such good sounding digital pianos that you could play a keyboard and get a really nice like grand acoustic piano sound. I don't think they necessarily were going for grand piano very much, but there was some piano that to me sounded like real piano, like a person sitting at a piano playing, like at a grand piano playing. And anything like that, the drums, the vocals, the piano, the acoustic guitar, all of that was recorded so well. It sounded so great. All the distortion, all the everything. Really, the album, I think, was mixed really well. There were moments where I thought that it was a little bit muddy on those first two songs, but now in context with the rest of hearing the entire album, that kind of seems like it was an intentional choice. And I understand why you would make that choice when you're trying to build something and it's very repetitive. You don't necessarily want too much white noisiness of the guitars, especially if the guitars are just going chung, chung, chug, 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 You don't want too much high frequency in that. And then the bass having not very much definition, that's because they were looking to get definition elsewhere in the mix. They were looking to get a lot of things sitting on top of the very constant bed of noise that they're creating when the song gets bigger and it's sort of more chugging. Then you can't have all that stuff feel so huge that then there's synth pads and things that come in over the top of it that fly in to add those sustained notes of tension over the top. They wouldn't mean as much. They would have to be thinner and slide through the mix rather than sit on top of it, which is the way that they were doing. So I think that worked out. I think just in hearing the songs hearing the album the first time, I think the first two songs are probably the weakest of everything. After the first two songs, I was in it. They hooked me. They got me. And I bet if I went back right now and listened to those first two songs, I'd be like, okay, I get it. I get it more. I get what they're doing. And that was almost why I mentioned, when we started the second disc and it was crisp and clear, and then they kept that crisp, clear, dry vocal the entire way through the second disc. That was why I was wondering if they recorded the whole thing in sequence, which would be really interesting and I think hard to do. I think it'd be easier to do that if you do have one person that's sort of the creative mastermind behind everything and then everyone else just contributes. But to have so many other people working on their own individual ideas to bring them all together and create something that is in sequence, I think would be almost impossible. So either I'm wrong that they recorded them in sequence, which I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that would be one possibility. If that is the case, I think it has to be that one person is sort of more the controlling factor. If it wasn't recorded in sequence at all and it was just different people bringing their ideas to the table and then they deciding how to craft everything together, then they couldn't have recorded everything in sequence. At least I don't think. But regardless of how they recorded it, they did a fantastic job. Songwriting, fantastic. Vocal performances, fantastic. The vocals that stick out to me the most are that song on the second disc that, I think it was the second one, that had the insanely quiet, but so accurate, not like pitch perfect and not like auto-tune to crap either, where you can't, just quiet, but these long sustained notes. And I mentioned when they were singing it that it's hard to sing quietly and like keep a sustained note. I have to push harder, but it really felt like it was both male and female vocals on that song. Both the male and female vocals did the same thing, being very quiet, like as quiet as you could and singing. And that's so hard and it was done so well. And that was a much longer song that built and did different things. And I think that, like I said, that would be a song that I wish people would react to. Like I said, charismatic voice, but there's so many other reaction channels out there, people who understand what they're talking about way more than I do when they're analyzing someone's vocal ability. It would be fascinating to hear someone analyze that. along with those vocals, there were all the different vocals. There were some songs towards the end that had a lot of effects on them. The last two songs I feel, were very disorienting and unsettling, especially that Crown song and then the Gold song at the end too. Very interesting how they were so disorienting. Not disorienting, unsettling is the word I'm thinking of. They were so unsettling with the pitches and the dissonance and the unnaturalness of it. The Crown one, the unnaturalness of having things come in and just stop. And then there's just silence for a second. And then something comes back in and there's this natural and then this stop. It's unnatural. It's just not something you hear very often. Very rarely do you hear silence in music. Very rarely. You can have a dramatic pause, but there's almost always something, a tail of something. Because it's weird to have no noise at all. Nothing, not even like a sound floor, which there probably was in this. Otherwise, it might cause some issues with mastering and whatnot. But really impressed here. Really impressed here. I'm kind of fighting in my head about whether or not I think this album is better than Controlling Crowds 1 through 3. Because that album to me is like one of the great albums of all time. And like I said, I don't know if I've ever even been able to listen to it all the way through in one sitting because it's just too much. Where I was forced because of doing this reaction, I did just sit here and listen all the way through this album, and man, was it fantastic. I think it could have ended a little bit better. Like I said, the more I'm thinking about it and ruminating on it, the last two songs were the unsettling, weird songs that didn't really have vocal parts so much as like vocalizations. And then they took those vocalizations and made a song out of, like, chopping stuff up. And that was an interesting choice to do that and have the album end that way. So interesting. I think the second disc I liked more than the first disc. I can't remember if I said that yet or not, but I think I like the second disc more than the first disc. Though I definitely think I like the longer songs on the first disc more because I feel like they built to different places. To me, kind of one of the things where when you're talking about False Foundation, maybe a little bit Axiom, the archive songs that do get a little bit too repetitive to me are the ones where they're longer, stretched out songs, and they don't ever deviate from what's happening. They just add and subtract things, which I know I said is one of my favorite things about archive, how they do that. But I do feel like every now and then you have to change it up. And I feel like the longer songs on the first disc, they changed up what was happening throughout any single song a bit more than they did the second disc. The second disc was much more that repetitive, like get a cool synth line or something, or a bass line or something, and then just run that constantly and then have different elements come in with and without it. And those last two songs in particular, since there weren't really any vocal singing parts, excuse me, since there really weren't any vocal singing parts, they were more just like vocal samples almost. It did seem like a little bit of a, but again, that last song was neat, and it was really the only song that kind of sounded like that. So I don't know. All the vocals were great throughout. The drums, like I said, those first couple songs where they were trying to be more of like a rock band, I feel like the drums got totally drowned out. And I think the reason for that is they recorded the drums and then they just let the drums be the way that they sounded when they were recorded. They didn't go through the process of re-drumming them, like not re-drumming them, what's the process of, I keep thinking reamping guitars. Drum replacement. They didn't go through the drum replacement process. And now, for those of you who don't know, drum replacement, you don't have to, when you say drum replacement, you're not necessarily replacing. You could just be using that process to add a different sounding kick or a different sounding snare or tom drums or what have you on the top of what you recorded. So you maybe you have a kick that has a lot of good low like sub-frequency sounds to it, like this kick had, but it doesn't have much high definition to it. You can't hear much of the head of the kick drum, just the booming low bass. It wouldn't be bad, in my opinion, or cheating, to add a good higher frequency sounding kick to that so that together they created like the perfect kick sound. And so the fact that they didn't do that tells me that they were going for, or at least as that, this is all conjecture, by the way, I don't know how they did any of this. I don't know what. For all I know, it was all electronically programmed, and not a single human being performed anything on the album. Though I don't think that that's true. That's not true. You can tell it's a human being performing. But anyway, that's getting too far into the weeds. This is really long already, so I want to keep it a little bit shorter at the end here. I just think I loved it. I loved the album. I think that it was fantastic. It's probably either my second or first, maybe third if I went back through everything, favorite album in their catalog. I think it's brilliant. I think that their older albums that I mentioned that are produced really well, for the most part, those albums have just one vocalist on them, the male vocalist. And then when they got to having different vocalists in the band is when they got to, they would start to vary what was going on from song to song a little bit more. And there would be, I feel like, I'd have to go back and listen, but I feel like on some of their more recent albums, minus this one, when a song starts, if the lady starts singing, you know, okay, this is a lady song. She's going to sing like more of a standard, structured pop song. And there might be a little bit of funkiness to it, but it's, for the most part, it's going to be more of a stereotypical song. And I like that stuff a lot. That's probably what I gravitate towards the most. But on this album, it feels like they didn't necessarily take that approach. They could have multiple vocalists on multiple songs, and if someone was singing, which there was vocals on every song, so if someone was singing, it wasn't necessarily like, okay, this is going to be a singing song. It could be like, this is going to be a singing song that's 10 minutes long that has all sorts of building parts and a long instrumental section, or they just repeat, there was all sorts of cool things. I will say using the repetitive nature that they use with their vocals sometime, like with the restricted, or driving in nails, or like, again, I said at the beginning, that numb, just the repetitive thing. There were moments of that throughout this album, but never like a whole song built out of just like repeating one thing over and over. And so I think that that's actually good. I think that's cool. I think they've done that a lot, and it's part of their core sound, I think, but they've got a whole catalog of songs where they were doing that. And I think that having this album not have that as much, at least, I don't think they did it as much. I appreciate that. There were several songs where I feel like I could probably sing with the choruses, which is not something that I could say on a lot of their other stuff. They have some of the songs where it's really catchy. If I had a hatchet, I would blah, 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 blah. Or you are scum, and I hope that you know that the cracks in your smile are beginning to show. Like, there's stuff like that. And then there's bullets are the beauty of the blistering sky, bullets are the beauty, and I don't know why. Like, there's stuff that you can sing along with, but then some of the stuff isn't really like singing along with if that makes sense. But this album, I felt, had a really nice mixture of complex vocal lines that you couldn't sing along with because it's so emotional, so expressive, and that is a sit in the quiet and listen to it type of thing. But then there were also moments where there was a lot of backing vocals, and it was like, here's a kind of a catchy little vocal part that you could sing along with if you're listening to this album in a setting other than just sitting quietly and listening. Now, it'd be really tough, like all of Archive's albums, to listen to this album in a car. That is one of the toughest things to me, that I can't just, like, if I'm going on a long trip, I cannot put an Archive album on in the car and listen to it all the way through or something, because you'd have to be cranking up the volume up and down constantly, and that you just can't do it. It's impossible to hear an Archive album at least even halfway decently in a vehicle. So I suppose if you were like on public transit or something and you had earbuds in, but certainly not if you were driving or if you were would be talking at all. So But man, there's just so much good stuff on this album. I feel like in some ways it's like a simpler album, but in other ways I feel like it's more complex. I know I've been talking about the vocals a lot, and I think that might even be the thing that surprised me the most about this album. Like, the amount of vocals, the variety of the vocal singers, the perfect way with which they were all executed, the imperfections in the vocals that to me make it even more perfect, because when you have all these repetitive driving patterns, stuff can start to sound like a machine, it can start to sound like a machine or a robot just churning out some right? But then you have these imperfect human elements on top of that, and that's what brings the whole thing together and makes it feel less like a machine and more like something that was crafted, something that was created, a piece of art. I like the fact that a lot of the songs on these two discs were their own individual songs. But like I said multiple times while we were listening, they're like, okay, that was a really loud song, 2 loud parts in a row. We need to have like a quiet thing. Then there'd be 2 quiet things, and it's like, okay, we need to bring the energy up here. So they still kept that. We're crafting the ups and downs of the album. We're crafting the highs and the lows of the album to work as a singular piece of artwork of an album. But each individual song, I feel like a lot of the songs did sort of like end more and then start, as opposed to having something, a song goes for a while and then the last like minute of the song, like there's like a different kind of drum beat in there, then that song kind of fades out, the drum beat keeps going, the next song starts on the downbeat of something with the keeping that drum beat going. Or having, it's more than just having things fade out while the next part of the next song is coming in and playing. A lot of their other albums, they connect songs in ways that it's actually connecting the songs. And so I feel like there was a little bit of that here, but less of that. And I'm okay with that because I like all the individual things they were doing in each individual song to make it uniquely its own. So, yeah. I feel like I could talk about it forever, but I'm just going to leave it there and say thank you very much for watching this. If anybody ever does, this video is going to be over 2 hours long. So thank you very much for listening to this. I don't know if anyone from the band will ever see this video, but sometimes it happens. Even if my videos only get 30 views, sometimes someone from the band will be like, hey, I appreciate you doing this. Like, if anyone from Archive ever sees this, or anyone that runs their social media or anything, like, thank you so much for whatever you do in the band or however you contribute. And just know that your band, this band, is a special band. And I am so grateful that you continue to make the music that you do and that you have been for so many years. And even though not all of it is necessarily for me, I do think that all of it is art. And I do not say that while rolling my eyes. And I also don't say that about a lot of other things. There are certain artists, certain musical artists that I do consider to be artists in the traditional sense of the word, and Archive as a band is one of those. So thank you very much for making the music that you've been making. And like I said already, also thank you very much for watching the video. I only have one more album up in the queue to listen to, and that is my Bloodywood album. I have it right here. Finally have Rack Shack. This is what's going to be coming up next. I don't know when I'm going to be getting to it. I also have New Shining. My Black Keys album reaction drama Boogie just came out today, so go watch that. If you're seeing this, it's already on the channel. But regardless, thank you very much. Go listen to this album again. Share it with someone who might not know who they are, because you might convert them and make some new fans for life. Because I don't know how you could hear this and not at least on a certain level be impressed, let alone just be flabbergasted with how amazing it is. So thank you very much, and I will see you next time. Oh. I forgot that thing was behind me.